Folks, welcome back. Rudy Alpha Investments. I don't think I've ever had the amount of emails, Patron messages, 300-400 messages to cover the GameStop stock situation. Good old GMA that's going on Wall Street, or also known as the Wall Street Bets Reddit group versus the professional suit ivory tower hedge fund empire. Talk about a David versus Goliath. Amazing story. This thing is going to go down in historical case studies, textbooks. I mean, my third floor basement, you can flop my taco. It's going to be flipping nuts. So I am going to cover it. Just, I had no plans of discussing this, but the sheer volume of people reaching out, wanting my opinion and perspective on the situation is just beyond anything. So probably a lot of people are not interested or knowing who I am on this channel. Obviously, just so if you just kind of, the algorithm showing you something different. This is a Magic the Gathering Pokemon collectible / real estate is what I specialize in. I used to be a broker, but I left that industry and pursued cardboard and live in the 4th floor basement of my parents' empire. So just let everybody know. So, the GameStop situation. As of the filming of this video, it is the morning of Wednesday, January 27th. GameStop stock is like $350 a share. I'm trying to be serious. That is flipping amazing. Okay. Essentially what I see going on here is, to give you a 5-second backstory, a bunch of rich fat cats in ivory towers who are really cocky, and trust me, they are, essentially were shorting the living crap out of GME stock. They got caught with their pants down, and what was it, 130, 140% of the float or something was being shorted? some outrageous number of shares of GameStop was being shorted at like the $5, $10, $20 range over the last 3, 6, 9 months. I don't know if this was being built up or accrued or doubled down. That's a different conversation. Essentially, this information was not really leaked out because it's public information on a lot of kind of better quality trading desks and Bloomberg terminals. You can kind of dig through this type of higher level trade data. But essentially what happened was, somehow it got over to Reddit. Wall Street Bets, with their attendees, essentially ran with it and decided to go after these people. So as they say, with their powers combined, they really kind of pumped up Captain Planet, and they literally Chuck Norris these people in the face. It's kind of, I'm more amazed by the story itself. So also a couple of small disclaimers. Obviously everyone on this channel knows, I even have some of the mods, some of the moderators on Wall Street Bets have actually sent me. I have Wall Street Bets like items and memorabilia, a clock that you guys have seen in my other background videos. So obviously I've been a part of Wall Street Bets for a long time. I personally don't engage in a lot of options trading anymore. I don't deal with any really equity or debt or any form of derivatives trading. I did make an exception on this. I actually have been kind of somewhat small, nothing like these crazy people, involved with doing a little, involved with the GameStop and of course the, was it Blackberry? Crackberry? So I have been involved with it for a couple days, mostly just because I think it's hilarious. I don't really care. We're not talking millions of dollars. So I do want to disclose that up front. That's all I'm going to say about that. You know, for people not familiar with Wall Street Bets, this group of people, I started following and I joined, and actually that's the only Reddit I actually follow on a daily basis. That one, and there's a couple other like really cool space stuff and just nerdy stuff. Essentially, I remember when I first started following Wall Street Bets, there was like 1.1, 1.2 million subscribers on that. Then it went to like 1.5, 1.8. Now it's like 2. I think it's probably going to be by 3 million people part of that Reddit group by the time this goes live. It's insane. It's a different culture. That Reddit group is a group of tons of people who are kind of old school 80s style Wall Street. Their language they use, the comments towards each other. It's a very different type of approach that's kind of old school. Like for example, if you're shorting a stock, they say don't be a gay bear, and they have like a little logo with like a rainbow and a bear. That's the terminology they use in that group. If you're trying to hold on, they say diamond hands. And you guys have heard me use that lingo with Revise and Magic boxes, which still holds the course. Remember, folks, do not sell Revise to stay the course with Magic. We are pumping to $1 billion. Anyway, sorry. So again, they use the diamond hands terminology. Then you see like little rocket ships, which means, you know, I'm not selling. A lot of Wolf of Wall Street memes. They call each other retards, and that's kind of it's not in a derogatory way, it's more respectful. So they use these different type of memes in language within that group. Again, as with all Reddit, I don't really post or anything, but I just like to watch it because I find the culture fascinating. It's a very interesting little world. And so on the GameStop situation, I don't want to make the video too long, but my overall opinion is, it's a huge momentum trade. It's becoming mainstream media, and everybody's following the David versus Goliath story. Do I think most people should be throwing money into this thing and chasing this bullet train? That's going to be up to you. I'm not going to give no financial advice on equity or debt trading or doing some option derivative short-term betting with expirations on each Friday or weekly calls. That's up to you guys. But I do want to be on record. It's at $3.50 a share. There's, over the next few days, especially by this Friday and the following Friday, are probably going to become the most two pivotal dates. There's two important things, in my opinion, that everybody needs to be aware of from my experience, at least back in my younger days. Back in my day, come on down to the basement and get a popsicle. No, anyway, but in my opinion, the momentum's going to keep going. But I'm warning everybody, there's going to be a day or a moment or an hour where the momentum will stall. And when it stops going up, at the end of the day, nobody wants to own GameStop stock with a cost basis of $300, $400, $500, $600 a share. Nobody wants to hold AMC theaters with a cost basis where it is. Nobody wants to hold that long term. These are momentum, social media hype plays. There's a lot of money to be made and a lot of money to be lost in this. The problem is, the trend is going to continue to boom and be your friend, but it will turn around the bend. Yes, that rhymes. And when it does, it's going to turn fast and furious, man. So that's the problem, because we can easily see this stock go to $400 a share. Maybe $500, $600 by the time you watch this video. Maybe the video goes live in the afternoon. It's already $1,000. I don't know. But I'm telling you, keep in mind, this thing can easily open up tomorrow morning or Friday or next week. And this thing can gap down 10, 20, 30, 40%. And you can see a shave off of this thing that's massive. Because once we have a momentum shift, there's going to be a massive race to the door. There's going to be a panic sell. And when it happens, well, usually when the stock swings that hard, they're going to freeze it and halt the stock on the way down. Which means options trading will also get halted, and many people will get stuck along the way. And then when it opens again, it's going to gap down. It's going to keep jumping down. And that can happen out of nowhere. It can happen tomorrow, maybe happening right now, may happen next month. So, for the people who are playing in this, you got to understand, this has nothing to do with GameStop. They are, although power to the player being the company's motto is flipping hilarious. How is that not the best, the irony of that? So remember, folks, this is something that a lot of people are going to make a lot of money on. But this is also something that I promise you all, a lot of people are going to get flipping wiped clean. Because there are people out there going to be buying at cost basis of $400 a share. And trust me, this thing can drop $100, $200 a share in a day. Because like I said, the issue here, this is not a Tesla situation where Tesla stock or Amazon or the Googs and the apps and, you know, these guys that are growing parabolic long term, like Tesla stock's gone 10x in what, a couple months? You know, those companies are revolutionary. Papa Elon, you know, I don't even know if he's human. You got to be careful. GameStop is a tiny old school. It's like an LGS. You guys from the Magic Pokemon world. GameStop is the LGS of the video game world. And the video game world's literally going digital and online. They're a tiny retailer and there's no benefit to it, the LGS. And LGS and Magic, at least you can play the game. You can get promos. There's different exclusives. I mean, GameStop, I mean, sure, they get some little exclusives here and there, but they're playing in a digital changing, revolutionary kind of retail space. GameStop tried to sell the company. Like, what was it, 6-12 months ago? They couldn't even get a buyer. This is when the stock was like $5. So remember, you got to be really careful because this kind of stock can easily pop from $350 to $500, and you can make all this quick tendies, but this thing can turn on a dime whenever the momentum stalls. My concern on something like this is not how much higher is it going to go, but I'd be afraid of when it starts trending sideways. Once you lose out on that push, when it stops going up and it just starts going sideways, or if it starts going down, you better be careful because the momentum can turn so quick. The amount of high rollers that are probably rolling with some massive stop losses and orders in the system, where if this thing trends down and starts triggering stop loss protection, I mean, it can be a self-fulfilling just monster and just gobble up everything. So that's my opinion. I think it's an incredible thing. And it's the biggest takeaway of this whole thing is this GameStop story is going to pave the way for a new revolutionary era of the retail little man versus the big dogs. And I think that's the biggest takeaway of we are approaching a new era. Things are changing, folks. We've been talking about it with Magic. We're talking about it with this.